those who have yet to meet me, my name is Tim Ramdell. I work right over there, third floor, building 17, in the asset strategy optimization. I handle the end of life cycle for the leased assets. So when they're done with their leased assets, we have to decide what they're going to do with them. And I'm here to tell you what moves me. And it's moved me for a long time. I can remember way back in the late 70s where I had big hair. Didn't have tight curls, but I had big hair, kind of like Prince's first album. Yeah, I just had big hair. And one of my older sister's boyfriend came over, and he brought a stereo over, and it was old. It was even old then. It was an old Marantz, brushed nickel plated. Wasn't big particularly, but it was heavy, just a heavy piece of equipment, and I still have it. It's over 40 years old now, and it still works. And I remember playing music with my sisters, and she would listen to the Beatles. She loved the Beatles, and I remember the artwork of the different colors, the psychedelic colors of Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, the simplicity of their White Album, which was white. The Rubber Soul, where they had the kind of the curves in the title, and the faces were in a round frame. I can remember listening to music in the radio, driving places, you know. And it's always been something I've enjoyed. And I have a plethora of CDs in a multitude of genres, ranging from classical, rock, reggae, little rap. I don't listen to much rap because they curse too much, so I particularly like Will Smith because he keeps it clean. Bluegrass, folk, R&B, funk, pop, whatever. I pretty much listen to everything, kind of scant on country, but Shania Twain's okay with me. But I also appreciate the positive lyrics, the melodies, the different instruments, the dynamic range of a piano where you can hear dun dun dun, or you can hear like a ticka ticka ticka, like baby footsteps running across the floor. It's very interesting how people use music to express themselves. It can take you places. I was listening to Beethoven, oh geez, what was it? Something Sonata. And they blended it with sounds of the ocean breeze and seagulls. And I could just close my eyes and I could picture myself at a nice warm beach with the waves crashing in on the rocks. And it was just a mini vacation while at work listening to my headphones. And it's interesting and amazing and enlightening, and it just takes you places. It stirs emotions, sometimes good, sometimes bad, happy, sad, and everything in between based upon the melodies, the lyrics, the instruments, you know, the lightness of a harp or a violin, or the thump, 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 thump of a bass that really makes you want to move. And it really can stir memories. You know, when you first heard something, you remember, I remember when this first came out, I was in 6th grade, and I wore, you know, this color shoes to school that day when I first heard that song, and I remember my dad playing it on the radio. It can take you places. And I find music very enjoyable. And for a while I was a little bit addicted to collecting CDs, although now it's a thing of the past as we've moved into this digital age where MP3s are more prevalent, and the record stores are just folding and dying, and it's sad because where will we be without music? I was at Rasputin last night, and I was talking to them about what do I do with my old CDs? I see they're being devalued each year. And so I wanted to get an estimation, because I'm considering, you know, letting my CD collection go because it's big and bulky and it's heavy. And it takes up, you know, yay amount of space. Fortunately, I have a nice rack that holds 1,000, so it's not a big deal, but it does take space. and it is heavy to move, and it does take time to put the rack together when you move from place to place. It's not an easy thing, you know. It's not like you can just take a hard drive that holds, you know, a couple hundred gigabytes of music and you're done. You have to lift heavy boxes. So I was contemplating getting rid of my collection, and I wanted to see what they'd be worth. And they said it values anywhere from a penny to $10. Well, how can I estimate what my collection's worth based upon a penny to $10? I can't average it. Well, $5? You're going to give me $5 for all of them? I can just read you 1,000 CDs? They have to evaluate each individual one. And for me, I can't see giving up my collection for $100. And I know they're not going to pay me $10 a CD. So that's something I'm struggling with now. And for now, I'm just going to enjoy it as long as possible because I enjoy it. And to me, it's worth more than a couple dollars a CD. I know I paid a lot more than that in the time. So that's what moves me. And if you're interested in maybe borrowing an album or CD, I should say, albums are the big vinyl things that dated way before the CD. I'm right upstairs, just go through the bridge, first section of cubicles, and I can actually get you a list of the CDs I have. Mostly jazz. Quite honestly, I don't know if I mentioned that in my initial list of genres, but it's heavily jazz. Probably a third of it is jazz, jazz vocalists, jazz instruments. But I do have some other genres that may interest you as well. Let's go back with lyrics. A lot of music promotes social change, and one of my favorite artists is Bob Marley. And there's a couple songs that I can think of in particular that promote social change. Get Up, Stand Up, where you want to fight oppression, worldwide oppression, by standing up for your rights. Another one is Small Axe. It talks about bringing down big government, one person at a time, you know. If you are the big tree, we are the small axe, sharpened to cut you down, sharpened to cut you down. And Michael Jackson has another one that talks about changing worldwide, but he says, do it from within, man in the mirror. You know, take a look at yourself. Make changes to yourself first. And that's why music moves me.